Hello, everyone. This is Autumn. I'm here with one of my favorites, and I am very excited to have her here. I've known her for a very long time. Uh, she was one of fifth, seventh, sixth person that I met in high school, and I've been able to see her grow as an artist, as a person. And I'm just excited to conduct this interview with you just to learn some more hidden gems that you may have
I'm
hiding.
so excited to be here.
Yes, so I'm gonna go ahead and let you introduce yourself because someone has a new name.
Okay, well, hello everyone. I'm Tolivia, DMV singer songwriter, PG County specifically,
Hey, nice.
and I'm so happy to be here.
So before we get started, I would like to open up a bottle of wine and
Great.
toast to one, the interview and
Yes.
new beginnings and just learning more about your success and your journey. So let's just go ahead and crack
Let's
that
crack it
open.
open. So we have San Antonio, Sweet Red, cause we some sweethearts, so we prefer.
Hate to be the one to break it to you.
If I can. Oh,
Got
it's a
it.
twist one. Perfect.
That was amazing.
Thank you. We try to keep them up, but
I've been doing a horrible job at keeping my nails up.
ugh, sis,
Snotty.
it's the length. I gotta keep them short because if they're not,
Trouble ensues. So we're toasting to, what did I say earlier?
new beginnings.
New beginning.
To the interview.
To the interview, new beginnings. Toast.
Perfect toast.
One of my faves, guys. One of my faves.
So good.
We're going to chop this up. All right.
Yes.
So, say your name again.
My name is Tolivia.
So that's a new name. Where did
It
that come
is.
from?
It came from an inspiration from my maternal grandmother
Oh.
and my younger cousin. They both are amazing singers. My grandmother, she was a touring musician, singer, church singer. And my younger cousin, she was named after her. And
Aw.
she is flourishing as a dancer and singer, and I see a lot of her in me. So I wanted to be the middle vessel to have the generational impact and passion.
So at what point did you decide that you were ready to change your name? Because changing your name is like changing the trajectory
Yeah,
in your career.
I agree. I that's a great question. I thought about it when I wanted to infuse my name with it because one, I wanted to keep some aspects of it. My
Right.
name is beautiful and unique, and I knew I wanted to add a corporation of it with there. But what inspired me was going back to actually look at home videos of my grandmother singing and getting to know really her journey with being a touring singer, a church singer, back in the 30s.
Ooh, nice.
You know, so then seeing my cousin flourish and everything, I thought that would be a really good spin
Yeah.
to keep her inspired because it can be hard in the arts, you know,
Yeah.
to still feel like it's a good career choice or anything. So, yeah.
So, does your music at this point represent the name?
I think it does. I think it does on different ways as a singer and
Yeah.
as far as the meaning of Tulivia's generational impact and passion. I think my music resembles that a lot in different aspects of empowering women and dealing with different type of situations as far as relationship handling, building, and
Yeah.
communicating in more effective ways or not even communicating in effective ways. We all
Yeah.
ain't perfect, so
That's true.
being able to have those impacts and communicate them well, I think my music resembles that.
So, just from listening to your music over the years, where does your style come from?
Oh,
And what is your style?
how will I label it? So I would say that my style is infused with jazz and R&B and neo soul, with a little cherry on top of classical.
Yeah.
I believe that comes from my overall experience around music. I was first raised in Bob Marley and R&B straight, and growing up to just that, and then going into choir or classical music when I joined choir in secondary school. That really expanded my mind on music in general. So being able to tap into the jazz aspect, I thought that was inspired by Anita Baker.
Nice.
She is one of my biggest inspirations vocally, because I resonate very well with her vocal range.
Yeah.
So yeah, I would say those are the labels that I would give my music.
That's very interesting because we listen to music nowadays, and when you have the music background, let me start that there.
Yeah.
When you have music background and you understand the theory of music, it makes the listening experience a lot more enjoyable.
Yeah.
It's almost like a journey. You know, each song is like a movie because you can kind of guess where they're going to go, but you also don't know because artist interpretation could just be everywhere. Yeah. So your approach to music outside of the style, your writing and your concepts, what does that journey look like for you?
Oh, that journey is it's full of my own life experiences.
Yeah.
It's not just in the theme of what a jazz song would be about, you know, traditionally it'll be about the sky or traveling with your loved one, or, you know, in those ways. My inspiration songwriting wise comes from just my own life experiences of struggling to communicate well, of communicating well but still not being effective, of even witnessing other people's life experiences too, if that answers your question.
Yeah, so let me dive into that real quick, because you mentioned that twice now. What was the communication barrier? Both communicating well and then not communicating well. I think from my own experience, I feel like I'm a great communicator, but I have to continuously tell myself that feelings are not facts.
Are not facts. Absolutely.
And just because that's the way I communicate, that doesn't mean that's how someone else comprehends and listens.
And I've held on to that principle. I can relate. Yeah. I've held on to if I communicate well, then they should understand what I'm trying to say. Or just because I intend to be well doesn't mean that it will be perceived well. So it's been that juggling communication for me in my own womanhood, in my own growing up. I would say that I will assume that people would interpret the way I think, you know?
Yeah.
And if they don't, then they're either labeled wrong, negative, or bad.
In my head.
Exactly. Yeah. So it's, and all in all, it's phases of maturity that I've had to come into for communication. And songwriting helps with actually articulating it well, and journaling does too.
So do you think that, let's go into the writer's circle.
Yes.
Right? Because you have artists who do not write their own.
True.
And then you have artists that do. Then you have artists that dabble in both. You know, we all know. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So when it comes down to communicating through the artistry of music, do you still feel like your music is communicating what you're trying to say?
Oh, yeah.
You know?
Yeah. It's when it comes to my music, I love that I don't have subliminal messages sometimes.
Yeah.
I'm very direct.
Mm-hmm.
And at the same time, I can add a subliminal spin to where it can mean two things. Mm-hmm. So that's the creativity that I like to bring. But direct communication is how I communicate in general. So bringing that to my songwriting, I think that really does reflect getting my point across.
Yes. Because I sometimes I listen to music, I'm like, what are they talking about? Or you can tell that this is directed to someone else. We're just being able to ear hustle. We are the flies on the walls. They're letting us hear what they really want to say to somebody.
Right.
So let's circle back to that.
Yeah, for sure. Because I can relate.
So, your process. Are you one of the people that are driving down the street and the idea comes to you? Are you in the studio type and you just need to hear the music, or do you write the song and then find the music later? Like,
All
what's
of
the?
it.
Oh my god.
I have so many different aspects of song inspiration.
Right.
I'll drive and I'll be listening to a beat, and I'll just freestyle on that.
Right.
Freestyling as far as not just rapping, of course, but it's an R&B freestyle.
There are R&B freestyles.
So I'll do that. I'll also play on my piano. Piano really does help.
Yeah.
With my that's my first go-to for songwriting.
Yeah.
I gotta go to the piano, and that aspect, and then also shower. That's my process, people, of songwriting. Sometimes it be in the shower.
It be in the shower when people are waiting to get in.
Cause I love freestyling. In general, that's what helps me to bring a certain melody to a beat. I can bring a melody like that.
Right.
So that's what will help with that flow.
Yeah.
Once I have that melody, I'm good.
So my question: what is your favorite song to date that you've written?
A song to myself.
And where were you?
Cleveland. I was in school.
Ah, okay. Because you see I'm going with this?
I
when you were in Cleveland, were you... Oh, God, I can't believe I'm about to say this. Were you in the shower?
No.
Were you driving? where did it come that it was like this... Because I'm sure when you're writing, you didn't know it was going to be your favorite song.
No.
You know?
No.
So, where were you?
I was in my dorm room. And Cleveland was known to be a very gloomy city. And it felt gloomy outside and no blue skies anywhere. So I just needed a pick-me-up song. I didn't have one.
So
and
you wrote one?
I wrote one for
That's so
myself.
sweet.
Yeah.
That's so sweet. I mean, it's a mix. Little column A, little column B. That's so sweet.
It's truly still close to my heart.
Right.
Because I remember this state where I just was like, I want to be home where I can see sun and just placing my spiritual self there. And I'm like, let me just go in.
Right. Because, I do photography, and I remember, like, my favorite shoot. And it was actually my first ever photo shoot. Like, to this day. Like, that my first ever photo shoot with people. Like, because I was shooting abstract stuff. So, and I was also in college, but I was in the state. I was in Maryland. I was in Frostburg.
No problem.
But, yeah, and so I think about those moments, and sometimes I go back to when I get ready for a shoot and I'm planning something, not necessarily searching for that thrill and that feel, but it's like, it's so relatable. Like, this is where I started. This is how I felt. This is still enjoyable. And to be able to relive that and to know that that's your favorite song and that you have the story and you understand. So since then, is the music within the same
type of energy? Yeah. I would still create songs that I would need in the moment. I would still create songs that can help me be in a moment.
Right.
Or even in an experience.
Right.
I can still. That's the cool thing I love about my songwriting.
Yeah.
Is that I can not only just write from a space where I've experienced, but a space where someone else has experience and I want to be in.
Yeah.
So it's the manifestation of it all. Because let me tell you, it was about 2 months after I wrote that gloomy song.
Yeah.
I think it was like this time of the year.
Right.
Where I was ready to come home, and I came home. And I was so happy. Sun greeted me.
You know what? It's like sometimes you forecast things that you don't even know that you're doing. The power of the tongue is strong.
Very.
But so is the mind. Without you even like speaking it into existence, your mind attracts your mind attracts what you're thinking.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Well, your mind is what you're thinking, but
Yes, your
you
thoughts
still
produce.
attract.
Yes.
What your whole body is energy. So you have to stay in a state of awareness. Because it's like, it's okay to be sad.
Exactly.
But not okay to be sad forever. It's okay to be gloomy, but not gloomy forever. Feel your feelings and let's just move, forward. So my next question would be, what you're doing now as far as music and rolling into the industry.
Yeah.
What are some things that you do and do not like? Because I feel as if we're in the era of R&B music. Like, the era of R&B music is pain. You know? The era of pain. Everybody is sad.
Okay.
Everybody's going through a breakup.
It's true.
Everybody is going through something.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I don't want to ask if you're going through something, but like, how do you feel about where music is right now, especially R&B music?
I want to emphasize R&B music.
Okay.
I think that it's a theme.
Okay.
That always holds space for R&B, and that is to talk about pain. Because if we're talking about R&B, rhythm and blues.
I got you.
The blues.
It's a little too blue right now.
But
it's not enough rhythm.
You
get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm like, where's the,
where's
the little bounce,
That's
you
true.
know? Like,
however, I think that it's transformed into these new subcategories of trap soul and different hip hop elements to where it's not that same upliftment. And I agree, it is an era of pain. It's not really a lot of happiness. Now, the ones that, in my opinion, like, another inspiration of mine is Leanne La Havas.
Oh, ooh,
she
nice.
has a song called "What You Don't Do." What
right.
you don't do, what you don't say. I know you love me. I don't need proof. See, you don't hear that on the radio though, right? Because people want to relate more to the pain and the depression. I think it's here because people can relate more to it. Everybody has some pain that they're going through in their own aspects. And R&B, specifically the B part in R&B,
okay,
the blues aspect of it, I believe it will always hold space to express pain. But I agree, there's not a balance.
There has to be a balance.
There's not a balance in pain and in pleasure for R&B.
Okay. I think, remember, thoughts aren't facts either.
They're not. These are feelings too. So,
right. I feel as if, which is equal to, that's not a fact.
Not
But I like that women are, I don't want to say starting, but have been dominating more in the music industry, whether it is rap, whether it is R&B, whether it is what's the other one,
R&B,
neo soul, and all of that. Do you the industry now, with your jazz inspired, classical inspired, which we're going to dig deeper into that background as well.
That's fine.
I don't want to ask where you fit in, but I feel like you understand what I'm asking. Do you create your own genre, or do you fall into line of the mainstream?
I believe that I create my own sound.
Yes.
And my sound will either fall in the R&B soul, or it'll fall into alternative.
And I like alternative.
I do like alternative too. I believe that alternative is a wide spectrum that a lot of people can't put their finger on. So they're just going to throw them over. Not necessarily throw them, place them there.
Place them in alternative.
Place them in alternative because of the different elements that they bring to one song, one project.
Yeah.
And I think that's where I will lay.
Yeah.
In the genre placement.
Right.
if it's not R&B soul, which I'm okay with, because that's my roots. I'm not gonna deny that that's my roots, and if I'm labeled as that, then okay. I don't.
Ooh, we good.
That's fine. I'm okay with that. However, if I'm also labeled as an alternative or a jazz type of artist or music, then I'm okay with that too. I'm not subscribing to any of them.
Right.
I'm just open to what it could be.
Right.
But labeling myself, I'm a musician.
Ooh, because the voice, okay?
Okay.
You can only call yourself a musician and listen to me, people. Listen to me, people, because I am a musician.
Come on.
All right? So a lot of people don't know this, but I am a musician. You can only call yourself a musician as a singer if you can sing in more than one range. Okay? And not only just sing in more than one range, if you can tell somebody else their part, and teach them their part and still jump back into your section.
Give the definition.
Okay? You can't just be humming. You can't just be harmonizing. You gotta be able to sing. Read it, understand it, run it back, teach it to somebody else, run the choir, the notes.
Hop on that instrument if need be.
Help on the okay, because It's time. Hold on. Yes, because we're going to take a quick break and we are going to come back.
Right back.
But understand, when we come back, it's time and it's on and popping.
Yeah.
Because for real, they need, like, people. I think that people don't understand what it means to be, I don't want to say the word privileged, but I think chosen.
Because we were selected.
Some people had to audition. Some of us just walked on in with no extracurriculars. You know what I'm saying? But I think people. All right, let's just start from the beginning. So we went to Suitland High School. We were in the visual performing arts program. And, you know, we had some of the best teachers in the area. Prince George's County to be
in exact. The county.
We went to school. You had to audition to get in.
Did.
So, when you say that I am a musician, some people just say, well, all singers say that. Well, were all those singers classically trained? Did some of them sing abroad? Did some of them were in, 500-piece orchestras?
Did some of them get private lessons with well-known classically trained, like, opera singers? Like, worldly known.
People not listening. Y'all not listening.
Y'all, I don't think it.
Y'all not listening.
Worldly known as a teenager.
And then go to college and start singing again.
And not only just that, though, even while in high school, having to play the piano and sing as if I'm my own accompanist at 15.
I think one of the best things that I took from Suitland Senior High School, clearly I'm the only one that says that.
County.
Was how deep they took you into the theory of music, understanding each era, the Baroque era, the Impressionist era, and understanding the different levels of jazz, and even having a jazz band. Because I played the flute and a few other instruments. You know what I'm saying? My resume is nice.
It is. She real humble right now, but it is.
So being able to have teachers who are also musicians, who still perform, who still understand the craft, who still understand the industry, who still understand the business, having oral classes, and that's when you learn how to sing the note. For people who
on the note,
yes, and you hear the chords and you're able to sing them. You don't
Ear training.
Basically ear training. We're going to call it that.
Yep.
So when you take those types of skills, specifically from a school that's known for their choir,
Right.
more than anything else, they're known for their choir. And then you produce an artist who is able to, I want to say, manipulate sound, because you're creating it to your own individuality.
Right.
Right? And share stories within that music, share emotions within that music, and share passion, and share, sadness, and
all these different emotions.
Your experience and everyone else's experience. When you say that you are musicians sometimes suffer the most, because the only way that they can express themselves is through the music.
True.
Even when no one's listening.
True.
And
it's the freshest outlet for us singers or songwriters or music or instrument players,
and it lasts forever. Art can be destroyed. Pictures can be stolen.
Has happened.
Music lasts forever. And I don't think people really hear me when I say that. Music lasts forever.
That's why I would say when I was in school, when I was in college, for my senior recital, I made it a point to have all Black composers, because it's not talked about. It's not taught.
Yeah.
All the repertoire, all the composers that were purposefully hidden.
Yes.
Purposefully not mentioned in textbooks or mentioned right next to Beethoven or Mozart, that they created masses. They created symphonies and just all different types of repertoires for multitude of instruments, including singing.
Yeah.
Or, I'm sorry, voice. That I wanted to make that a point at my PWI.
I also went to a PWI.
And it is very important for me to be expressive about my community and where I'm from, and also my generation and where my voice stems from. Right. It stems from my grandmother, it stems from hers, and it continued back then. My grandmother had a powerful voice, and I do as well, and I knew I had a strong voice. I just didn't know really if I wanted it to be for singing or if I wanted it to be for public speaking. But I knew at a certain time in my music career, especially in high school, with the amount of musicianship development that I even gotten there, that this is what I wanted to use my voice for. So not just for my generation that I'm standing in, but the one that came before me and after.
So, in your musical journey, even getting to today and understanding who you are as a musician, tell me about those moments where you doubted not your talent, but just your contributions, and or if you were on the right path that God wanted you to be on.
Good question. Those moments were scary. They were rough. They were defining. I tried so many different ways to maybe explore different professions, as far as office administration and corporate and all these even sales, or because I've always been good at speaking, and I have the confidence I'm very outgoing, so that was a thing. So, but these dreams, these dreams I kept having every night, the vision boards I kept creating
in your head,
and I couldn't, and even when I manifested them for me to say every day, it still aligned with music. It's still aligned with me singing and me expressing my truth in that way.
Right.
That's when I just knew I couldn't second guess it anymore. So it was a full of second guessing of is this really it?
You know,
Until those dreams. Inner visions are real.
inner visions are real, and I had those same exact dreams. And so vivid, in color. I can feel everything. I can taste everything. I know who I'm talking to. I see the people to the point where I have deja vu all the time. And I contribute all of my deja vu experiences as I'm on the right path.
Period.
Not I've been here before or decided, like, no, this is where I'm supposed to be. That's why it's so familiar.
Right.
This is where everything I've been through brought me here. This scene, I knew I was going to be in this scene. I knew I was going to be in this environment. I knew you people were going to be around here doing something. Not sure what y'all were going to be doing, but y'all doing something. So yeah, I feel that.
Yeah.
And I think that when people are choosing, when people are choosing their path in life, that question always has to come up. Am I on the path that God wants me to be on, or I'm on the path that He just gave me an option to do?
Right.
And because God give us free will.
Correct.
But that doesn't mean that's where He wants you to be.
Correct. We create the life that we want in the free will.
Yeah.
And I feel that with Phil, not facts. I feel that when you're silent enough, when you can tap in, it can be one of your purposes, because I also believe that you don't have just one purpose
Right.
in this life. You have multiple. And I feel that my truth lies in music.
Right.
I feel that if it's not singing, it's producing. If it's not producing, it's arranging. It's some caliber of music collaborating that I'm doing.
So, let me ask you this.
Yeah.
We are in an era of pain, music of pain, the era of pain in R&B. And how do you think that everybody stop. Hammer time. Okay, I got it.
Okay.
Looking at what's happening in music today, the era of pain, do you think that it's a great representation of R&B and
yeah,
what artists have to offer?
Yeah. I think that it is a good representation on where R&B is, because of the aspect of blues. When you talk about the gritty pain of a relationship or fallout or actual physical pain that you're experiencing, I think it does align with it. I believe that there's a level of vulnerability that R&B, that you need to have with R&B, that blues ooze out of, but it has been lost.
I think the rhythm part has been a little lost.
It's the rhythm part that may have contributed to the lost aspect of that, but I believe that the pain is still there. I think it's a good representation because it's still space that can be held for R&B. I believe that there's a new wave of pleasure that is being added to. A new wave, not the whole, oh, let's hold each other at night and, you know, let's go out to dinner. It's a new explicit way of introducing pleasure into R&B.
But what is the pleasure? Because if it's sad, and when I say the era of pain,
Okay.
a lot of music right now is about toxic relationships, about mental hardness, emotional vulnerability, emotional abuse, and so it's like everyone is either in a relationship and hurting, coming out of a relationship, or in drastic turmoil and pain, or I don't know. It's like you don't. I understand rhythm and blues. I understand the blues part, but at this point, it's almost like we should just call it the blues, because a lot of the cadences
like
are
the blues,
the new blues. Okay, because a lot of the cadences are the same. A lot of the hooks and like when I say cadences, some of y'all don't know what I'm talking about. But
it's a certain style. We're not gonna do that.
Yes. So, but I understand what you're saying, because I guess.
Well, to your point of what contributes to the pain,
to the pleasure.
I think what contributes to it is the.
Why do you think on that? I think the only thing that contributes is to the pleasure.
Okay.
And I'm probably going to get canceled for this.
No, you're not.
Is the fact that it makes you feel like your relationship isn't that bad.
So, okay. So it's a comparison thing.
So it's like, ooh, you going through that, girl?
Ooh, I
ain't going through that. I mean, I'm going through something, but I'm not going through that. So that makes you feel better. It's like, oh, okay, it can't be that bad. Like, look what y'all got going on over there. I don't got that over here.
Well, I think for the pleasure part, pleasure is perceived different nowadays.
Right.
And especially relationships. So pleasure can be based on now just sex, the meaningless act of it, or just the non-intimacy building. It's that era of pleasure that can also breed from out of R&B.
Right.
Because of where society is for valuing relationships. So
right.
The pain, like how you said, on toxic relationships of mental hardness and depression, and I think that may also have to do with the awareness of how relationships are being built, how we are moving nowadays. The awareness is at its all-time high for mental awareness, for physical, all overall. So I think that translates to R&B.
Right.
And unfortunately, committed relationships right now are not valued. Marriage isn't valued as heavy as it was when R&B was first coming up.
Yeah.
So I think it's sad, but I believe that's the truth of this era of pain. It's because the lack of value in relationships.
So in high school, what was your focus?
Classical.
And then in college, what did you decide to do?
I decided to still pursue classical. I still loved R&B and what my roots were in it.
Yeah.
So I expanded my music capacity to explore more.
Did you dive into like jazz or swing or bebop or anything like that?
Yes, definitely dove into jazz in like my last year or so in school.
Because I know from listening to your music over the years, there is some influence of jazz.
Yeah.
And even in the way that you sing and enunciate and your flow. In the process of, because that's, a lot of people are not doing that. Yeah. So in the process of being in the studio and even just making sure that that element of your musical background is being present, I guess, does it come naturally, or is it hard to put over R&B?
I would say it's a little challenging because of my classical background.
Yeah.
I'm used to diction and enunciating, especially when it comes to different foreign languages that I'm being taught to sing and to understand before I'm even singing. So bringing it back into the jazz and R&B realm, where it's more lax diction, it's more ebonic, and you know, it's a lot of blackness.
I feel you.
There's a level.
I feel you.
There's definitely a level of challenge that I have for it. But I think that's a beautiful element that I have, that I can over enunciate, but sometimes I don't have to, so I could bring my own flow into it and find my own medium. So I believe that's one of the challenges, maybe diction. But stylistically, I think it's beautiful to incorporate classical elements to jazz because of the roots of classical music in general, and theory and musicianship and ear training and counterpoint. It all is in music structure and song structure. So bringing that into jazz, which can be free form, and it's still heavily in theory too, but it has its own chords and its own extra flavor, or 9th, 13th chords in it. It's beautifully crafted. So it's great to have that balance in my musicianship, and I love that.
Well, that's amazing. So the end of the year is closing up.
It is.
Are we prepping for anything in 2022? What you got going on?
I'm dropping an EP.
Oh,
yeah, one's coming out. Thank you. I'm looking forward to showing my music more out locally, and just getting my voice to be heard in different type of music elements, and R&B and jazz, and just playing in those ways. People usually know me in my classical realm, so and I've built confidence in that way. So going now into the R&B and jazz, it's a challenge, but it's a growth opportunity. So I'm excited to
very excited. So where can the people find you?
Find me on IG _TOLIVIA. You can also find me on YouTube, Tolivia, as well. You can also find me locally. I will be performing in DC at open mics.
Ooh, nice.
And I'm going to be collaborating with Studio 29.
That is I.
for some photo shoots and podcast interviews, like how we're doing now.
Yeah, this was great. We definitely have to do this again. So thank you everyone for tuning in. I hope that you enjoyed this interview tonight. Please be sure to follow her on all of her social media, to reach out, come pull up to these performances. We'll try to get you guys some calendar dates, and definitely look out for that EP.
Yes, definitely coming soon.
I wish you guys a good night.
Thank you all for tuning in.
Namaste. Is that what people say?
Yes. Well, the light in me shines for the light in you, so that is namaste.
Namaste.
Namaste.